the middle until it's done.
Mission confirmed. It's crazy.
You can find me on DoorDash, and hopefully you get me.
You rubbing that knee is nasty, nigga. That's nasty.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were acknowledging that you were of the elder race, but you can find me at
The elder race. As fuck.
It's giving me everything I need. When Stock Talk said, give them the forecast, I got wet. I did.
All right, Zelmay, you're under her. You're next.
Yes! I mean, chicken.
Wait a minute!
Yo, back again like we never left. Of course, this is another episode of Make It Make Sense, the podcast. I'm your host, Monterey Hudson, and I'm joined by a co-host, the owner, the CEO of Keep It 99. He's sorry, like he's Steve Smith. It is Zelmay.
Listen, it's a bad week for a lot of y'all. But if an athlete is smashing y'all girl, don't put it on the internet, because the internet gonna be like, that's what they do.
I mean, it is what it is. But coming through today,
The boy laughs at me, looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy. You thought I forgot?
tried to get away from it. But we're gonna come through, giving you some sports updates, just taking a little look at the landscape. And we figure, why not? We might as well throw the NFL in here too. So we'll start off. The NFL, congrats to the Eagles, the new Super Bowl champions. As of course, young Zell over here is a fan of the Eagles. He is happy. He is proud of the Eagles for dismantling the Chiefs, destroying the dynasty. Talks of the three-peat, at least part of their dynasty. And they just came through. And so I figured we might as well take a nice little stroll in the landscape of the NFL. And we're just gonna take a look at some teams and some grades. Let's just grade the year for the team. Real simple. We'll follow the NFLPA, and we're just gonna grade the team. Since just me and Zell will be able to get through this relatively quickly. Just say if the team had a good year or a bad year, overall grade for their year. So we might as well start from the top. So Zell, for the Dolphins, how did their year go?
D. It's got to be a D. Listen, expectations, weapons, and all what we thought, coaching, we thought they were supposed to be there in the playoff race. And it was a bunch of injuries. Tyreek Hill quit on the team. What you want me to say? D. It's all we can say.
I would
I do have expectations in my thing too. Talent wise and coaching, I put all that.
I'm gonna give them, all things considered, I'm gonna give them a C. Because expectations, I didn't expect anything from the Dolphins, to be fair. Like, we knew last year what they were. Congrats to Tua for being able to make it through the remainder of the year, no other major injuries. But nobody really expected the Dolphins to do anything. They could have been 11-6, they could have been 13-3, they could have been 8-9 like they were, I believe. It wouldn't have mattered. Like, we knew what they were. They were a team that could make some noise around playoffs, but when the push comes to shove, good teams they're not really good against. So they went about as expected. They just didn't make the playoffs. They're about like one game out ish. Give them a C. Now, what's it gonna look like next year going forward? Probably more of the same. That's it. The Vikings. Tell what you got.
The Vikings. Let's go. I'm going with an A based on this. I did not expect the Vikings to do anything when McCarthy got hurt. You told me Sam Darnold was your quarterback. They done. They last place in the division, and to actually have the second best record in the league in the NFC with my team, got to give you an A for that. You can't tell me, Sam. No one, even with Justin Jefferson being amazing, you can't tell me you expected the Vikings to have only 3 losses this year.
I don't think I was too right. That is funny. For me, I will say
a lot of kids. No. He went there and had 5.
He's trying to get about and go to a better quarterback. But for me,
Sam Darnold was the quarterback.
I'm gonna be fair. They had an A because they're one of the two. I got two teams that were the most surprising in the entire year. That's one of them because, like you said, nobody expected Sam Darnold to go there and be able to lead a team to be 14-3. Nobody, them fighting for the number one seed. Nobody had that in their bingo book. Let's just be real. Now it ended the way most people figured that their year would end. Most people figured like they wouldn't even make the playoffs. With Sam Darnold, or if they did, they'd be in a wild card like they were, and they would go 1-out, which they did. So the year ended like people thought it would. It's just throughout the year, nobody thought they'd be that good as they were. So, but I'm gonna give them an A. They had wonderful win columns. Sam Darnold was able to play his way. He lost the most lucrative deals he would have gotten, but he'll be somewhere
games were nasty.
at least. Like he's not gonna be. Most likely, he won't be a backup, or if he is, he'll be on the Vikings. So he'll get signed somewhere. He was able to extend his tenure. So they get an A. They get an A to show that they can actually fight for their division. All right, we got a monkey one here. Green Bay.
I'm gonna give him a B because when you got the quarterback started off the season injured, took him a while to get back. Then the main receiver got injured, out for the season when the playoffs came. I think they did what we expect them to do, a little less, but injury came into place. I give them a solid. It's a solid B. To me, they did what they expected to do. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna look at them.
Jordan Love did get injured the first 4 games, so it's kind of. And they will start out with 1-3.
I'm gonna grade them a little difficult. Because of their expectations. I'm gonna give them a C. I'm gonna give them a C because they had bigger expectations because of what Jordan Love did last year. A bad interception away from possibly having the NFC Championship berth on his first full year starting. They had a great push, and this year they were expected. Okay, they should be in there, and they sort of just went down with a bit of a whimper. Yeah, they lost one of their main receivers, but they're loaded on receivers with a bunch of, I'll say, middle of the pack receivers. Not a lot of them have really just separated themselves to be a top tier receiver like that, but they had a lot of weapons, a lot of receivers. They upgraded their running back, and they just sort of went down to a whimper. Now looking back at it, they did go down to the Eagles, I believe.
Yep, 22-10.
So they went down to the Eagles, which now is the Super Bowl team. So they lost. In hindsight, doesn't look as bad, but just based on the expectations throughout the year, they never really was able to look like a really threatening Super Bowl team. I'm gonna give them a C. Like they had an okay year, but it didn't go the way they really wanted to. They maintained their status quo. Yeah, I'm with it. So I got that. The Eagles, I think this is pretty clearly an A, in not an S. If you want to go high as S rank, they had a Super Bowl win. Like it ain't really, like they, to me, I don't even mind going first for it. I give it to them. They had the best year you could ask for. Last year there was questions on head coaching, coordinators, everything on
hate our coach.
They fell apart.
But we feel it.
Can they get their defense back right? Is Jalen Hurts any kind of guy, anything? And they after going 2-2 throughout the season, I don't think. Make sure
we lost the one game when we didn't play our starters at the end of the year.
Yeah, they walked, and then
that's the only game we lost.
11-game winning streak before like Hurts got hurt in one game. So it's like a 10-11.
And they threw 6 touchdowns to beat us with a backup.
Yes.
And they went in overtime.
They won one. They lost one game because of an injury, more or less. Other than that, they destroyed everything else. You give your hat to Nick Sirianni. Harry Roseman is
still hate him.
Probably might be the best general manager in the game right now.
100%. Whole defense full of rookies. We got 3 rookies and 2 second-year players.
Like the only other one I want to give nod to is the Lions general manager. Amazing work for both of them. Like they get an S rank year because they did everything that you could ask them to do. Destroyed the championship team, the 2-time championship team, and then you can ask for. That's what I got. Yeah, S rank for me. They did fine. Zale.
Like 5'6", 350-pound lineman. When they got Saquon Barkley, we got AJ Brown. I don't even know how we got this team together, but Devontae Smith, and then we had to replace our defense because we lost everybody. They showed the stat. We had 2 people, Graham and what's his name? They played 2 years ago. The corner, I can't think. It's Sauce Gardner. Only 2 people from the Super Bowl team that we had. And we came in and all them boys sweat and all them boys hooped for us.
Man, yeah.
We had 3 rookies starting: the Gene, the Mitchell, and what's the other one? Not Sweat the second year, and then we had 2 second year. That's 5 basically under 21 first year contract players. I don't know how we're gonna keep these boys, but at least we got them. We got about 2 more years. We got about 2 more years.
Yeah, to be fair, like
I don't
a
know.
lot of the defense has been made over the last couple of years. Nobody has really had to be paid. So and smart thing of how they pay people early. Like Saquon went in and got his, he balled out, did that. AJ Brown's been paid already. Hurts got paid after the first Super Bowl year. So the cap hits aren't as egregious. And a lot of the defense, but most of the defense is young, 1-2 years, stuff like that.
Yeah, we
So
still got a year or 2 on them.
they,
And
they,
the
they
offensive
still got
line.
another year or 2 before they really have to start making difficult decisions. I mean, even Devontae Smith, I think his year of getting paid is until next year. So they really ain't gonna have any issues going
We
forward.
just paid AJ Brown.
So they're not gonna have any problems going forward, at least for right now. Like wonderful work, Phil. We
So
move
I
on
got
to the Jaguars.
Super Bowl. That's S for Super Bowl.
Yeah, it is. The Jaguars.
Oh, disappointing. I get him an F. Listen, they ruined Trevor Lawrence. That's the only reason I said I don't know. Listen, I have never seen a person start off so great and regress to trash in my life.
It's gonna be a few more quarterbacks we can talk about. They're gonna fix
Yeah,
it.
it is, but I don't think they did the level of Trevor Lawrence. We thought Trevor Lawrence was the next him.
I don't know who thought that.
And Clemson, people thought that when he was in Clemson. When they went to
There you go.
listen, just don't go to Jacksonville. Don't go to the Giants and don't go to Jacksonville.
I mean,
Duval.
they had an elf because I don't understand. Like Trevor Lawrence has regressed. Now, did he look amazing to me his first year? No, he didn't look amazing. He didn't look amazing his first 2
He
years.
got to the
So them
playoffs.
them giving him that contract is an elf because there's no way you
That
should have
dude-
paid him after those first 2-3 years of mid. There's no way you should have paid him. Like, yeah, he had the biggest playoff comeback in history, but that was also more on the Chargers collapse. There's no way he should have got that contract. Now they're hampered because they have a quarterback that don't look good. They just got another.
draft terrible.
They don't draft well. Their pieces are middle of the pack. You know, I don't really know what they're going to do going forward. Just to be honest, I don't know what the head coach is going to do to try to turn it around. Hopefully, they can try to get something for him. But
I do like Brian Thomas though.
hopefully, they can do something. You know, to turn Trevor Lawrence Brown to being a decent quarterback because they're hampered. They're very hampered. San Fran. Let's just.
This is the hardest one because it's so many injuries.
I'm gonna be real. They had an F year. Let's just keep it a bean.
I'm gonna be expectation, yes, but I'm like, I want to give them an F2, but I'm like, everybody was hurt.
Okay. To be fair,
Everybody.
I'm gonna give them a D.
Bosa was hurt.
I'm gonna give them a D because they had so many injuries. Christian McCaffrey played all of 2.5, 3 games.
The Trent Williams hurt.
He didn't come in.
Bosa hurt.
He didn't come in until, and I'll say CMC was basically the Barkley of last year. CMC had all of 3 good games. He didn't play the first 7, 8 games of the season. They couldn't make the offense around him. Purdy looked, not nowhere near as good as he has.
When you lose every player you got and you really get good.
They had injuries across the board.
Debo hurt.
It was just bad. It was bad all the way around, no matter how you look at it.
A receiver got shot.
So I
had to play receiver.
I say D because they just had the injury.
Yeah, I say D too.
Now they came from a Super Bowl and just didn't even make the playoffs. So it was horrible. But gotta go. The Texans. I'm gonna give them a C. I'm gonna give them a C because they did the same thing they did last year. Except last year was a surprise.
Lose to the Chiefs.
Last year was a surprise. This year,
lose to the Chiefs.
It was not. It was a disappointment because they had a bit of an injury bug too. And be fair with them. Tank Dell gets hurt.
All their receivers hurt.
Diggs tears his ACL, unfortunately. Nico Collins missed significant time. So all their receivers got hurt. And then the offensive line was not as good as last year. CJ didn't look as good this year either, so they struggled. Defense did its thing to help them get to playoffs.
And Joe Mixon did his thing before he got hurt too.
So they had an injury bug too, but just they didn't look as good. They did the same thing they did last year. Exactly. So I don't know what the offense will look like going forward because I don't know if Diggs is gonna stay. We'll just say they had to see.
I say see. It was because it was straight. It was like a straight line of what last year was. See.
The Giants throw the team away. Like, look,
Nah, not even F. This below F. This team is the worst. I saw y'all. Why y'all shouldn't even? I'm gonna add it even lower. They get like a 0 because we saw the process of them being horrible on Hard Knocks. Like, who recorded this? I would never let this shit go out.
throw the team away. Like, we see now, they were right to draft Saquon. Then they don't pay Saquon. Saquon goes to have a almost record-breaking year and wins a Super Bowl. Like, it don't even make sense to throw the team away. You pay Daniel Jones after
And then
one
you realize Daniel Jones without
decent
Saquon
year where
not
he don't
really
throw the
that good.
ball as much and runs a lot, and y'all pay him. Now you're hampered by his contract. You get Malik Neighbors.
And then you
I
cut
can
him.
see Malik
They
Neighbors
cut,
running
they
out that
cut
mug
him.
in
They
3 years.
pay him and then cut him, my day.
I can see Malik Neighbors running out that mug in 3 years. Like, it's just, bro, this is crazy that
They just paid Daniel Jones
they
and
don't
cut
know what
him.
they're gonna do at quarterback. Throw the team away. At this point, throw the team away.
If I pay you $40 million and then 1 year, the next year I cut you, I made a bunch of bad decisions.
Throw the team away, bro. I don't understand it. Like, they don't know. I don't even know if they can draft a good quarterback this year. Like
Did
Cam
they
Warren,
trade all these draft picks?
they have. I think they're what, third,
They
maybe.
hold the number 3 draft pick, but then they
Yeah.
traded the second rounds and stuff.
So they have to trade up to guarantee they can get Cam Ward or Shador. That nobody is really 100% sure if they're gonna just be those guys, but they're the best quarterbacks on the board. You're not even guaranteed to get them unless you can trade up. And both of the teams ahead of you desperately need a quarterback, so they probably ain't taking it because the Raiders need one, and the Browns definitely need one. But they dang near worse than y'all. So it just, throw the team away. Throw the team away. They can't even be bad enough to get a higher draft spot. So now they gotta get some random quarterback in the second round and hope they pull a Tom Brady or Brock Purdy or something. Or maybe a Jalen Hurts, they're hoping. The Raiders, I mean,
I ain't gonna lie. A lot of times I don't even know the Raiders exist.
we expected them to suck. They sucked.
How we give a bad grade when we like, yo, that roster
They
is
did what was
trash.
expected of them. So, I mean, they chased Devontae Adams out the door. At least they successfully sucked. So I'll say a C because they did suck successfully to get a number 1 draft pick to be able to pick a quarterback for the future. So they were doing what they needed to do for the team going forward, which is not do well. So I give them a C. They did what was expected, which is be bad. The Bears. The Bears get F. I'm sorry, they get F. Like, the expectations that Caleb had, I also forget my camera. The expectations Caleb had, mind you, I was not a part of this, were very high. Very high. People had, and I'll say people like the different analysts, different predictions. Had the
Replay the
Bears
show. I picked Jaden Daniels to win Rookie of the Year, by the way.
They had Rookie of the Year locked in. They had them making the playoffs with a wild card, on his first year. They had them going at least 9, 10, 11, 12 games, not a 9-game losing streak. Like, they had the Bears pretty high based on how the weapons that was on there. And it was just a titanic failure. Caleb, as the year went on, looked like he was losing pieces of himself. Like, he had sparks and moments where he looked like he could be good. And Eberflus and they, oh my gosh, bro, it was bad.
Stop firing offensive coordinators and coaches every year so the quarterback can get used to something.
Not if they ain't good though. Yeah, it was bad.
Hire a decent coach and give them some time. Holy.
I'm gonna give the Bills to you first, Dale. Bills grade.
B+. I'm gonna give it because we didn't expect them receivers to develop as they did, but shout out to them for developing. James Cook did his thing for them. Shout out to him on my fans. It led me to the championship against Holly Hush. Since I shouted that. James Cook did his thing, but still Josh Allen. So I can't give it an A because it's still gonna be expectations because he is supposed to be that guy. But he lost to Mahomes again.
I'm gonna give
what
him.
Robert say again?
I'm gonna give him an A-. I'm gonna give him an A- because all things you said are right, but they didn't have expectations this year. This year literally was one of the few years people had multiple teams, at least the Jets, which we'll get to them later. They had the Jets ahead of them. They had them fighting with the Dolphins and stuff. Like they did not have the Bills good because they had changed up all their wide receivers and just had James Cook and everything. So they did not have them to be good.
Shafir, shout out to Shafir.
And this is the year that Josh Allen actually wins an MVP. Like leads them to the second best record in the AFC, destroys his contemporaries, at least in his division, beats Lamar, so he actually can say he has a playoff victory against like one of his contemporaries because Burrow had his number the year before. So he can say I've beaten one of them. Now, the minus is, of course, because he lost Mahomes. And you had the opportunity to win again, and you lost to Mahomes. You had the opportunity to win, and you lost to Mahomes. So you get a minus for that because, you had a spectacular year, surprised everybody, but you still lose to Mahomes. So you get the minus for that.
Boy, he might shed real tears if he ever beat Mahomes. That man might be the most.
I'm telling you, that Phillip Rivers thing with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
That man gonna cry real tears. He beat Mahomes. But when they showed you, everybody showed you how to beat Mahomes. Hope the offensive line is not good, and then have a defensive line that absolutely dominate. By the way, people like him and Tom Brady. I'm like, Tom Brady against the Giants had the greatest offense of all time and scored 17 points against that defensive line. Defensive lines work, dog.
Yeah, if you can get pressure with 4 or 5. And your secondary can hold the fort while that pressure getting there. You can.
They sent 4 the whole game against Mahomes.
Yeah, they never blitzed. They literally only sent 4.
And he got sacked the first 3 plays.
You can get pressure on these quarterbacks. You can beat these quarterbacks. Now, if you just sit there and let them dissect you in the pocket, the defense works.
I know people like, well, Tom Brady never had this happen. I'm like, he averaged 44 points a game and scored 17 in the Super Bowl against the Giants. Quit pretending like he didn't have 4 bad games.
Look, all I say, Tom Brady's 6th ring. The Rams was putting up 30 on everybody that year with Jared Goff leading the way, Todd Gurley, the monsters back there. They scored 9 points. They scored 9. Bill Belichick pulled the greatest wizardry we've ever seen him pull in a doggone Super Bowl when he scored 12 with a Tom Brady that looked bad but wasn't as bad. The offense just was not that good. This man kept them to 9 points.
And people forget after his 3rd Super Bowl, Tom Brady didn't go back for a decade. Mahomes went back.
Like
I'm saying, I'm just talking to people who said the debate over. I'm like,
defense works.
It's still gonna be hard for him to ever get to Tom Brady, but still, the debate
is done for right now.
Yeah. But like I'm saying, after the 3rd, it took a decade for Tom to get back. A decade. I want y'all to understand how long 10 years is. A decade to get back.
And mind you, Mahomes is about, I think he's about to turn 30. I think he's about to turn 30.
Oh, he just turned 29.
One of them. He's around, I know he's around 29.
He turned 29 in September.
So yeah. So the next season he'll turn 30.
Yeah.
So he's still in his prime naturally, and he's got about, I say, 2 to 3 more years before you might actually start to question his prime body ability with him. Because once you get past, I really say 32, 33, everybody ages differently. So not everybody is able to extend prime years like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, stuff like that. Some of them struggle.
LeBron's
just don't
40.
So it just depends. So nothing really is guaranteed past like 32, 33. But let's keep going. We got them boys.
We just gonna call it Jerry. They rating this Jerry. And Jerry is an F. His whole life, it's been an
F. They get a D. They didn't have a good year. They got helped by the injury. The injury bug hurt them.
Michael Parsons, CD
got hurt early. That got hurt late. But by the time that got hurt, they were fighting for relevance to be in the playoffs. Not even like from a dominant position. The offense didn't look good through the entire year after the first game. Their defense struggled naturally because of the defense thing. So I'm gonna give them a D. It was bad, but defense. The injuries didn't help. And they were missing Deron Bland for the first half of the year. Like they were missing pieces. But all in all,
as long as Jerry that ain't an F, because Jerry is forever an F.
And right now, we're gonna see what Brian Schottenheimer do next year.
Take Harry Brian Schottenheimer. That's an F.
Oh boy. We move forward. We got the Lions.
B plus.
Oh,
I'm gonna give them a little bit of leeway. David Montgomery got hurt later in the season, kind of threw him off a little bit. They end up playing this. They end up playing. They ran into a buzzsaw, dog.
I'm gonna give him a C plus. I'm gonna give him a C plus. They even with the injuries, Aaron Jones, Ben Johnson pulled wizardry, to get them to a 14-3 record still.
Number one seed, by the way. Number one
they
seed.
my bad, 15-2 record.
Yeah, number one seed.
So they pulled wizardry to still be able to have that offense and defense being able to be consistently good throughout the year. Ups and downs of the defense, of course, but they were still able to be able to pull it together.
Lost
I
the
think
best pass rushing lineman too. They lost their best one by a lot.
they lost Hutchinson early. But my reason for dumbing that down, the way you lose to the Redskins was embarrassing. You cannot come out of your bye week. You get the seed, and your first playoff game, Goff has a clunker. Your defense gives up 40 something, and Goff throws 4 picks. You cannot have that kind of game. That's on the quarterback. That's on coaching. That's on the team. You can't go out like that. You're the number one seed, 15-2, and you get shown about a rookie. You can't do that. You cannot. And that's it wasn't just a rookie. Defense giving up 40, but you cannot give the game away throwing 4 picks. So I give them a C plus for that. Seahawks, they get a C. They did what I expected them to do. Be relevant a little bit, fight for a wild card. Don't make it. If they made it, they got put out in one. That's all for me.
I don't remember. I ain't gonna lie. I don't remember the Seahawks.
I can go through the easy ones. Now we get to the different one. The Baltimore Ravens. I'm gonna say they get a B minus.
I give them C plus.
They get a B minus. Like they made it. They got to. They didn't get to the AFC Championship, but they got to the divisional round. Lose a close one because misfires in the first half. And
Don't run the ball for most of the game.
They said misfires in the first half, not clutching up in the second. Stop running the ball at clutch moments.
No way Derrick Henry had 9 carries. There's no way Derrick Henry ever should have 9 carries.
It made them question. I question the coaching at certain points, like why do y'all stop running the ball at clutch moments? What happened to Mark Andrews' hands? Why does Lamar make mistakes that are not characteristic of him in sometimes those big moments? It just made you question parts of the team. But you look at team that bounce back. If only they had a number one wide receiver, oh well, like that ain't gonna happen. They just get a bunch of B tier receivers and they're just gonna work around it. It is what it is, but we'll see how that goes. Broncos, I think the Broncos. I give them an A. I get the Broncos an A. They had a surprising year. There's no one picked Bo Nix to be the second on the Rookie of the Year candidate and actually make a playoffs with it. Nobody expected it. They exceeded expectations. They did that for me. They lose in the wild card to get blown out, of course. They exceeded expectations, but I give them an A.
I give them the same. Listen, Bo Nix played out his mind. That defense did work. Patrick Surtain, y'all saw what he got this year. I'm just saying, you know what he get, my day defensive player. Listen, that's Bronco did work.
My hat's off to Sean Payton. Shows he can still coach. The division is definitely gonna be interesting now that they got basically 4 possibly Hall of Fame coaches sitting right there. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they develop those teams. Panthers doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I feel like benching old boy was a good call, even though I doubt it. They still hire coaches that don't have like a resume, so I can't give them a high grade. But benching them and then benching Bryce Young, giving them time to look. When he came back, he was throwing touchdowns and pointing before he threw a touchdown and pointed. I'm like, okay, he got his confidence back. He figuring out the game, which, like Tom Brady said, listen, let these quarterbacks develop, please, for the love of God. Once they look at the game from the bench for a little bit, they look at the game. They're like, oh, this is what a veteran does. Oh, look, he does this. He practices like this.
It's a little hard when your team is they suck and you are their hope. We ain't got time to bench you behind somebody most times.
But you saw what happened when he came back, though.
Yes, he actually
3 touchdowns.
NFL quarterback, and they actually was able to win a game or two. So I give him a C. I'm gonna give him a C. I was gonna give him a D. I give him a C because the benching and Bryce Young came back. He looked a lot The Titans, that's an F.
Y'all let Lil Levis play F.
That's
Oh,
that,
Will
yeah.
Levis on my
I mean, no, I
fantasy.
don't blame them because Will Levis, they tried that. He
Did you
looked,
see Will Levis at Florida?
no, he had sparks last year, especially his first game when he came in threw for 3, 4 touchdowns or whatever. They had sparks, and so they was like, okay, we might have something here. And they decided to go quote unquote all in, getting some pieces, to try to make it look relevant. And he just, oh my gosh, that was embarrassing. So they get an F only because God, that was a bad year. The Saints, they get an F. They get an F because Carr didn't look good. Sometimes even setting up the receivers for failure, putting them in bad situations in some certain throws we were looking at. Olave got hurt. Friggin' just the injuries that was unnecessary. Carr didn't look good. There was no point they were ever really looked at as a threat past the first 2 games of the year.
He whooped the
They
Cowboys.
smoked the
Oh, he for
Cowboys
real.
and they smoked, I think it was the Panthers. And people were like, okay, this game actually looked good. After that, it just went downhill. Didn't win anything else like that. But the Rams,
That's interesting to you.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give the Rams a B. I'm gonna give them a B. I think they had a good year. I wasn't really sure what they were gonna do, depending on how Matt Stafford was came, but Stafford still looks like a top 5 to 10 quarterback. He still looked good when he was able to be on the field. When offense was healthy, they were blazing, balling out. Just they had the injury bug for the first half of the year. When you losing Puka, you losing Cup, and so they look good. They were the only team that really challenged the Eagles all year. I mean, all playoff run. They were the only team that really challenged them. I think they had a positive year. Now trading Cup is something else entirely, but I think they had a good year. I'm giving them a B.
Yeah, Puka, when he got healthy, they start picking up. When Cooper Cup and Puka got healthy, people forget early in the season, both of them was hurt for like the first.
It worked like 6 games. So
Yeah, because I think I had both of them. I had one in both leagues. And I'm like, oh, they both injured.
and they
Which made old boy stand up more. Since I do.
and they draft very well. They found Kyron Williams. They found Puka Nacua. They draft well. I give them they draft. That's why they were still able to be relevant. They draft well. The Jets. That's it.
Disappointment.
That's it.
Utter disappointment. You got Devontae Smith, Garrett Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers, and y'all sucked. Y'all lost. Monte, you got to give them an F.
Oh yeah, it's F. It's
Monte,
definitely F.
they lost more games this year. I mean, they won more games last year than this year with Zach.
Yeah, Zach Wilson helped them win more games with a better defense than this year when they had most of the same.
Well, he didn't have Devontae Adams.
It was rough.
Brees Hall was hurt with Zach Wilson.
It just was rough.
Aaron Rodgers had Brees Hall.
Their locker room, everything was just bad. It was bad. The Colts.
I want to say this too. They have a 19-year-old running as a general manager who's doing Madden stats. They gotta get an F.
The Colts, it was like they did what was expected, but not the right way. Like I didn't really expect. Like Anthony Richardson was looked at before the year as like, okay, he could be a ball out year. About the 4 or 5 games he played last year, looked good. Everybody was like, okay, he might do something. He might be something serious. Boy, after he came out and people was like, wait, this man got some accuracy issues out this world. Now he got a cannon of an arm, but that accuracy, 40, 50% passing, that ain't gonna win you games. So, and then they go back to Flacco, and then Flacco looked bad, and they just going back and forth. It just looked ugly. After the first 5 games of the year, they're just going back and forth and look ugly. I give them, they're gonna get a D. They're gonna get a D. It didn't go the way they were hoping they would go.
I gave them a C because I don't know what we expected. That team was.
I expected, and most people expected, just Anthony Richardson to look good.
They
didn't really expect them to make no playoffs or anything like that. They just
listen. All them people we joke about running is running backs. Anthony Richardson is a running back. He's such a running back. He run people. He tried to run 3 linebackers over and break and tear his shoulder off the cup.
Like I said, we're gonna. And this year he didn't do that, but they just didn't look good. So the Browns
stop trying to run linebackers over Anthony Richardson. Stop.
I don't even know what to say about the Browns. I just
the Browns.
Like it's an F, but like we expect them. Okay, they had Deshaun Watson. I didn't expect them to look good with Deshaun Watson because Deshaun Watson didn't look good. It had to look good since he came back. So I respect them because like if you sign them for that much money guaranteed, you gotta try them. But it's an F. They just didn't look good at all. Chubb got hurt. I mean,
Can I give him? Can I give him a?
Chubby coming back? One of those ones, but just
Can
I
I
know
give him
he'll
a C just because Jameis Winston entertained me? like I wanted to watch him.
Just start James the year. You'll go 30 for 30. You'll get some touchdown games. You'll get some ugly ones. But just start.
He gonna tell you how Amazon delivered him a dub in the snow. He like,
Because
I
they're
ain't
gonna end
never
up
played
with
the snow before.
they'll end up with either Cam Ward or Shador Sanders, whichever one the Raiders don't draft. And you can put him behind Jameis, let him develop a bit, go under the radar, and let the other three teams fight for the AFC North. Buccaneers, I'm not gonna hold you. They get an A from me. And it's surprising because I did not. My hat's off to Baker. Baker, you can argue top 8, 7, 8 quarterback in that area. I really think you can argue with that. He had a ball out year this year, blazing up the scoreboard, being wonderful passing, doing good, keeping his team afloat, even when he was missing his wide receivers because Mike Evans got hurt. He's missing pieces. They still balling, still won the division, which they were not picked to win the division. You forget the Falcons, which are next, were ranked very, very high to win their division after Kirk Cousins. That debacle. So they won their division, which is surprising to people. They looked very good. And the game between them and the Washington Redskins was a sight to see. So I give them props. I think they get an A. They look good going forward because this is supposed to be a down year for them. Just get rid of some of their cap hit and everything. That's why they didn't really have to sign them back. So now they got a down year and they look this good. Mike Evans is still putting up prime numbers, 1,000-yard receiving year. They look good.
I give him a B plus.
The Falcons, look.
Quit telling me to draft B. John Robinson in fantasy. It never worked.
Look. I'm sorry. Everybody that drafted Bijan, Tyree, Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb. Look, I'm sorry. It was not Brees Hall. Like them first 5 projected picks, the only one that did anything of relevancy was CeeDee Lamb, and he didn't even look nowhere near as good as the previous year. So I'm sorry for everybody.
At the end of the year when nobody cared no more.
He didn't look good, but the Falcons get an F. They get an F. Just getting Michael Penix, which is already an older quarterback, even though it worked out for them now, it doesn't because of how much money they paid Kurt. So you pay Kurt 8 games later, you bench it. No, about 10 games later, you're questioning your decision. 12 games into the season, you basically bench him for Michael Penix for your last 4 games. No, it took my 15 games. So he just has a horrible fall off. You're talking about cutting him the year after you signed him all that money. And now you got to do Michael Penix. So basically, you went from we're finna fight for our division to be in some playoff pushes, starting over again. Shout out to Kyle Pitts. Hopefully, he's able to.
Hey, Falcon. Let Kyle Pitts play tight end. Stop putting him at receiver. He too slow to be a receiver. He's a really good tight end. He's a decent tight end, though.
I don't know at this point. The Bengals get it. They get an F. I'm talking about. Like, it's an F. You have Joe Burrow. You have one of the top, I'm going to say 3. Top 3 or 4 for some people, whatever. Top 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the league. You have arguably the best, at least one of the best offenses in the league. At least. Throwing wise. Your offense was blazing. It was beautiful after the first couple games. Problem is they start off slow again. They lose to a Patriots team their first game they had no business losing to. They lose their first couple games and they just dig themselves in the hole. I think they were like 0-4 before they won their first game. 0-4, 0-5 before they won their first game. They just dug themselves into a hole they couldn't get themselves out of. That's egregious. There's no reason for that when you have a top 4 quarterback and you're digging in a top 5 offense and you're
and the NFL leader in sacks was on your defense.
Like there's no reason. You got Trey Henderson. There's no reason, and your defense is just horrendous.
I don't know how though. Cam Taylor's not a bad player. I don't know what's.
I'm gonna need y'all to call Howie Roseman and the defense and Big Fangio. Call them to call Big Fangio. Call Howie Roseman and ask them what did they do to fix the defense in 1 year because you desperately need to do it. You desperately need to do it. Joe Burrow should be in the playoffs every year. There's no reason he should not be in the playoffs, especially with that kind of thing. Now you got to try to hold T. Higgins hostage because and try to figure out to sign him because now everybody's talking about the fact that T. Higgins, please believe if he hits the open market, there's at least
he's the clear number 1.
There's at least 6, 7 good teams. Not bad crap.
Every
Good
team in the league should
teams.
want
Talk
T.
about bad
Higgins.
ones.
He
At
a
least
legit
6
number one
good teams
receiver.
will sign him immediately. So they do not want him to go to open market. So they're gonna try to franchise him again. Just
I think people try to diminish him because Jamar Chase is like the top 2 receivers in the league. I'm like, T. Higgins is a number 1.
he is legitimately
You know what I'm
really.
saying? He's
He's
a
one of the
number 1
best.
receiver.
One of the best, if not the best, number 2 receiver in the league. He's one of the best, if not the best.
Because he's really number 1. He just got Chase next to him, and
You're right, please.
unfortunately, Chase is him.
Yeah, Chase is looking top 3 easy. We got the Cardinals.
I don't even remember them.
What did I expect from them? That's the problem. I don't really know. What
I enjoy watching Kyler Murray run because he
Well,
runs.
I think I expected them to make better use of Marvin Harrison Jr. for the offense to look better and not fall apart again after like 9, 10, 11 games. You know, they dang near had their division locked up when they was like 6-3 and everybody else was like 4-6 and stuff. And they let the division go again. They get a D for me. They didn't look good in the second half of the year. They let the division go early. Now the Steelers is a good one because I expected the Steelers to be bad. Most people expected the Steelers to be bad. And they looked very good for 2/3 of the year. And then around about week 12, 13, the clock strikes midnight. The Cinderella story decides to end. And they turn back into the pumpkin, and they lose 4 games straight, 3 or 4 games straight going into the playoffs, and get smoked by the Ravens again. And they have questions at quarterback. Tomlin probably isn't going anywhere, which I don't think is his problem. He's not the problem like that because they've never been able to fix a quarterback issue. They've always wanted to maintain picking people up instead of just actually getting good quarterbacks or like drafting one. And they tried with Kenny Pickett, but it didn't work out. And they just haven't been bad enough to get a high quality draft pick. They don't want to start over, so I'm going to give them a B. They had a surprising year, almost won their division. It just fell apart at the end. So at the end, they did what we expected them to do. But Mike Tomlin shows he's a really good head coach. I'm giving him a B.
Listen, Mike Tomlin provides miracles with this team. He got a YN out here going crazy, fighting in the middle of plays while they trying to throw touchdown. I was saying Russell was he out here trying to fight the DB. I'm like, I don't know what your running game does. Your defense holds up against teams but when you play a real team, they're gonna lose. And the problem Mike Tomlin having is he's never gonna let them be. Listen, I thought about this. It's a risk that you might have to take. You might have to let Mike Tomlin go. Listen, he's such a great coach. He never gonna let y'all be bad. He never gonna let y'all be bad.
I mean,
They not gonna lose less than 9 or 10 games. They're gonna stay right there and draft in the middle and still be right there.
I mean,
and they going after Trevor Lawrence. They going after every failed quarterback. You know why? Because they can't get a good position to draft one.
I know it's not a bad
quarterbacks. It's a reason people getting you're not getting a top tier quarterback from a free agent. No team gonna let their top tier quarterback go. So you're gonna have to get these quarterbacks that people throw away.
Like it's not a bad take because Tomlin is a very good coach, and just he always agree he's not had a losing record. So if they I ain't gonna say fire him, but they just had a mutual party because hey, bro, we need to suck. You're just not gonna let us suck. So, we're gonna have to part ways and let you go to a better team while we try to revitalize ourselves. I mean, they could do that, or even if they just decided to move Tomlin up and like make him GM or something. I don't care. Just it's hard because they're gonna really need to strike. They need to pull a Chiefs, Eagles. You know, they're gonna have to find a quarterback in like second, third round, or like just in a later pick that is just surprisingly really good. Because just most likely they're not gonna have.
Got one this year. I'm sorry.
But they're gonna have to find lightning in the bottle. They really are. All right, we got the Patriots. They did what was expected. They looked bad. They got a high pick. They start Drake May eventually.
I'm gonna give him a D because they fired that man and knowing they were gonna fire him in the first place.
Yeah, Mayo was set up for failure. Let's just keep it.
Listen, they did it again, Monte. That's another black coat they fire. They hired just because they know they're gonna fire him in the year.
Like it was
And
set
keep
up.
pretending like we don't see it happen.
They weren't going to start Drake May in the beginning because the offensive line was bad. They eventually do start him, and
He
you know
plays
the offensive line
better.
is bad, but he plays well. You know he looks good at times, and you don't even give Mayo the opportunity to develop, and you fire him for the coach you were going to hire anyway. And so, yeah, they did them wrong. So the organization gets an F because they're wrong for that. But team did what was expected. They're going to get a D. But yeah, Mayo was done wrong. He didn't deserve it. He gonna have done his 10 years. Like, hey, I was fired my first year, but he was fired. He was set up for failure. He had a bad team, that no offensive pieces really, no defensive pieces really. A starting quarterback that he wasn't even allowed to start until like the 6, 7 games. It was like, right now, he was set up for failure. The Chargers.
So disappointed. But they made the playoffs, I guess.
They're gonna get a C. They made the playoffs, which was good because they gave away their main offense. Like Mike Williams left. Um, they got rid of Keenan Allen. They both were gone, and they had to make an offense. So Lad McConkey is their best offensive weapon. So they don't really have offensive
I ain't
weapons.
gonna
Like
lie, McConkey, the only reason that game was close in the playoff.
yeah, but Jim Harbaugh showed that he can coach.
Excellent coach.
But just when the push comes to shove and you need Herbert to do some stuff in the playoffs, it just ain't going. Not right now. So I'm gonna say a C because they did better with the pieces that they had, but just they couldn't.
We gonna stop comparing him saying he's great because I need everybody like, oh, I wouldn't trade I wouldn't trade Hurts for him. Like, yo, he's not like that elite that you would trade for.
Playoffs, and we see Herbert shrinks.
He shrinks in the playoffs. He plays awful.
We're gonna see how they're gonna do going forward with him. The Chiefs,
B+.
I think anything less than a B would be egregious. Like
So they made the Super Bowl 3 years.
They made the Super Bowl. Anything less than a B is egregious. They made the Super Bowl.
By the way, they're the only team to make the Super Bowl after 3. Most teams get beat in the wild card because they didn't get. From what I heard from the Patriots and other teams that two-peated, which was only like the Cowboys. Everybody like, yo, by the third season, my body is so beat up because we play so much. We play at least 2 more games a season on average than everybody else because most teams either get beat in the first round or go farther. We make the Super Bowl every time, so we get more beat up. Our off season is shorter.
And you add that now that they now have a 17-game season. Yeah. So their seasons are extended compared to the older days when it was only 16.
And Travis Kelce looked like he's tired and older.
They might have cloned Travis Kelce, bro.
Yeah, by the way, if y'all ain't know, it's Taylor Swift. That man looked like a mall cop. He looked like state patrol now. I do this at work. By the way, this is a funny thing I do, and I'm gonna tell Monday to share the screen because it's hilarious. I do this thing when like a black girl date a white dude, and I be like, "What Travis Kelce you got?"
They might have cloned Travis. Yeah. They might have cloned him. But I'm gonna like I said, I think I'm just gonna give him an A-. I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna give him an A-. B+ is fine as well. Just because they got to the Super Bowl, I feel like they shouldn't have got there. I ain't gonna hold you. Just the other team in the AFC just cannot. They couldn't get over the boogeyman that is the Chiefs. But the Chiefs, offensive wise, have not looked that good all year. So the offense has always been a struggle all year. Mahomes has not looked as good as he has in the past. Still had a positive year, but he did not look nowhere near as good as he has in past years. The offense was struggling to make ends meet, losing Rashee Rice early in the year, not having Hollywood Brown most of the year, signing pieces, making them work, fixing parts of the offensive line, and it just fell apart, all of it at the end. Travis Kelce did not have the breakaway year he had the year before. Last year was a bit of a step down. This year was definitely a step down. So it just,
and let's be honest, that guy they put out there is so bad. He was so bad at left tackle. They had to put Tooney at left tackle. By the way, which Travis Kelce you got, black women? You got the one on the left, or you got the one?
What's silly?
Which one you got? There's no way that's the same man. But I try to give him credit. It's hard to 3. It's a reason nobody ever done it. When you tell me they almost did something that nobody else could do, and the only reason they lost, I'm lying. I'm not gonna lie. They ran into the one team. They got 4 defensive linemen that don't need help to come get you.
Yeah, you could say the Eagles pretty much. Not that the Eagles made their team to beat the Chiefs, because they didn't do that. They just made a really good team. But the Eagles were made to exploit the weaknesses of the Chiefs in every aspect. Like their front
Their
four
corners can
pressure,
hold 1-on-1.
their front four pressure, their secondary aggressive, their
We went and
quarterback
got Bowers.
their
Bowers was
quarterback clutch and clutch moments, their running back MVP level year to be able to extend drives.
yeah,
So
the
all
Chiefs
the
would not
pressure
let
ain't
him run the ball, and they
and
just
wide
gave it to
receivers
them.
that can get separation on their own.
And
They were
Dotson was a
made.
1,000-yard receiver, and he didn't show up till almost the Super Bowl. And Dotson showed up big in the Super Bowl. Dotson used to be people forget he was with the Commanders, and he was the man with 1,000 yards almost. Like people was asking who was the number one receiver between him and McLaurin. And this year he's the third receiver. He barely got the ball for the Eagles. The Eagles was stacked.
And we use that to transition to the last team, the Washington Redskins. Who gets an A? They definitely get A. They get A plus, whatever you want to call it. Your first year, Jaden Daniels. I'm one of people. I thought Jaden Daniels would be good. He was the one of the
I picked him to be rookie of the year
last year. I thought would be the best one. Like, and he had a year that pushed past everybody's expectations. Even people that had shout out to Eric Mangini. He's one of the few people that predicted before the year for the Washington Redskins to make it to the playoffs.
I did not pick them to make it to the playoffs.
He did not think that they would make it to the NFC Championship game. So for them, first year Jaden Daniels to show that he's a playoff contender, can rise to the moment, not get phased by the moment, and then get your team to the NFC Championship your first year. Hats off to him. Dan Quinn, even though he's gonna have to hold that Super Bowl moment for the rest of his career. But even with that, he showed he's a good coach. Quinn's a good coach. And he showed like that team is good. All they gotta do is pick up a few more pieces or whatever, and they're gonna be in it every year. They get an A for me.
Bro. By the way, going to get Marshawn Lattimore, good pickup. I know AJ got him a few times, but they got a little rivalry going on, so it's a little bit more motivated. Marshawn, and you can argue it. I'm an Eagles fan, so I say this. AJ got away with a little bit on my boy as a family. I ain't mad at it. But
don't let Washington pick up T. Higgins. It's gonna be ugly out here.
Right, Terry McLaurin is killing. By the way, only team that beat us after we went 2-2. Gotta give them credit. And like I said, I picked Jay Daniels to win Rookie of the Year. I had no clue they were gonna make the playoff. I was like, that defense is too bad to make. This recorded, by the way. We said this on the show. We had a show preseason pick. I picked Jay Daniels to win Rookie of the Year because I'm like, Jay Daniels is him. But I thought that defense was gonna be so bad. I thought they were gonna be the Bengals, basically.
Long behold, tell Dan Quinn that. Dan Quinn, I like it. My hat off to Dan Quinn. If I got to give props to a few coaches, Dan Quinn gonna get props. Todd Bowles get props. Like people sleep on the fact Todd Bowles has won that division and been good in that division after Tom Brady left. Like Todd Bowles is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I have to remember that, and he's gotten, because he won it with Tom Brady. He's gotten goodness out of that team and won the division even after Tom Brady left. So shout out to Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is a good one. He'll give it to Dan Quinn. If I had to pick a third one from you, it's probably Sean Payton. That'd be my third one for the year. Kevin Stefanski, if I remember right. Is it Kevin Stefanski that's on the Vikings?
Yeah, I think it's Stefanski.
I think it's Stefanski. He also could be another notch. Any one of them, but shout out to
Kevin O'Connell.
O'Connell's the other one that gets a good nod. You probably pick them. I'll take 4. I'll take 3. If I pick between O'Connell and Sean Payton, I'm probably gonna give it more to Sean Payton just because offensively they should not have been a double digit winning team. That the Broncos should not have won double digits in that division. To say the Broncos went 10-7 with a rookie quarterback is also crazy. Compared when you're in a division with the Chiefs and you still can pull 10-7. And then mind you with the Chiefs, and then you got the Chargers also with Jim Harbaugh, and you still pull out 10-7. I give you props for that. I give you major props for that. The Vikings also good. Like O'Connell gets nod as well. Because you was able to eke that out with Sam Darnold, but you do have, arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Broncos ain't got that. And they're still able to pull that out. So I give props to those coaches, but anything else there before we transition to the NBA?
Always remember. At the Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. All right. As we transition to the NFL, I mean to the
Skip
NBA,
it said at halftime we turned the TV off.
we ain't gonna take no hour on this, of course. It might be more like 20 minutes because the NBA is still breaking itself out, but we're just gonna do some updates on some teams as we look at the divisions, look at the parts. So let's go to the Eastern Conference. Right now, the East has definitely shaped up a little differently than the last time we checked in at about 40. We checked in last about 35, 40 games in. Now we're at the 56 game mark ish. Next time we check in will probably be right before the playoffs, which is probably around like late March, something like that. We'll check in again unless something major happens. And the top is still mostly the same. Cleveland and Boston are still mostly going to run away with it. And New York is right there. And then we look down to 4 through 10 because this is after the trade deadline. So, of course, major trades have happened. Pacers are still right there. Milwaukee, Doc is still having them relevant. Shout out to the Pistons.
Cade Cunningham is stepping up.
Cade has started to ball out. And, Detroit used to be straight up the laughing stock. This is the same Detroit team, I think, last year hit the record for most lost games consecutively. And Cade has just started to ball out. They're in the playoff mix. It's crazy to say that the
Pistons winning record in the East. Those two teams ain't got winning records as y'all can see.
So they're starting to actually be relevant.
Orlando coming back after the Paulo injury early in the season.
They are now. It is unfortunate that
forget Paulo was hurt for like a long time.
Wagner, I think Wagner tore his ACL. Or
yeah, so that's unfortunate.
So
like I said, they lost their best player for a long time, and now their second best player gone. So
he's gone for the year. So it's very unfortunate.
Which I'm sad about too, because we're gonna talk about this in a minute.
Then Miami's still holding, Atlanta's still holding, Chicago's just around. I do have a question because Zell is our resident Philadelphia 76ers.
Philadelphia is 1-1. So
I need to ask Zell, what do Philadelphia need to do? Because if you're unaware,
Embiid for the rest of the season, he looked like he's about to pass out.
Currently, I'll give him updates. Currently, Embiid is injured. He's technically playing injured because his knee is still an issue, and they've already said that most likely he needs another surgery in the knee to possibly get it back to 100%. If he has that surgery, he's probably done for the year. And so right now he's playing regardless of that. They're a game and a half back from Chicago to be in the play-in. And Paul George is looking like the worst third option in the league right now. This is his first year of a new contract. He looks horrendous. Nowhere near what he's been offensive-wise or anything.
We lost Jarrett.
And Tyrese Maxey is just been carrying the team as much as possible. But right now
we lost Jarrett, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, and then they're lightning in a bottle, freaking Jarrett.
I'm like, yo, he just down.
He got injured too, and he was putting up 20 a night, and he lost him too.
The funny thing is, I told Monte at the beginning of the season, I'm like, why he always dancing? I like every time he scored 25, I'm gonna post him in our group chat. And then he had a streak, and I'm like, I gotta do it again.
So,
like,
what should the Live 76ers do? They're 20-35. A game
I'm being real, bro. Just put Embiid to surgery, bro. Just have my surgery. It's time, bro. We can't. What we going? Let's be real. Paul George looking away. If Paul George was playing like he at least did last year, I'd be like, yeah, go for it. But he nowhere near doing that, dog. So I'm like, listen, I think we could beat Chicago and Miami, especially without Jimmy Butler. We can get them without Embiid. I don't need Embiid limping around. What we're gonna do? Make the 9th seed and do a play-in game and possibly lose and maybe win and get beat by Boston or Cleveland the first round because Embiid can't walk.
And then mind you, I mean that is what happened last year. And then mind you,
I'm saying
last year Embiid
he was bleeding.
Like Embiid did sign an extension last September for an extra 3 years, so he's gonna be a $300 million player.
Monte, we played y'all last year, and his knee was bleeding every game. I'm like, how did your knee bleed?
I don't know what to say about Embiid right now. They're stuck with him. He just signed an extension. He's not going anywhere until 2028.
Just heal, bro. Just attempt it one more time. If you get hurt again, I'm like, so. But At least give me one more try. Quit limping. I'm tired of seeing you just bleeding around on your knee. Mother, you ever seen somebody knee bleed? That man was playing y'all in Boston, his knee bleeding off the ground, and he was dropping the listen. He was dropping y'all off, but his knee was bleeding. all
I
over.
mean, he is a former MVP. He's the MVP winner. Like
Yeah.
Embiid is when healthy, a top 5 player. Just I don't know, man. I don't know what they do. Right now, they're still trying to go for it. Supposedly, they haven't sat Embiid for the year. They still got Paul George out there putting up everything from 20 to 2 points a night. So just I don't know. But right now, I wouldn't be surprised if this is really how the playoffs just stick out. The only difference is going to be in the play-in. The top 6 teams, as long as they keep going relevant. I don't really see much change there unless Orlando overtakes Detroit or something like that, or Milwaukee falls off. I think the top 4 teams are pretty much stuck where they are. Like I don't really
Yeah.
think there'll be much change.
And I think, to be fair, I think they're gonna stay that way. By the way, for interesting fact, Cleveland I don't think they have beaten Boston yet.
No. Cleveland beat us the second game. I think when we had Brown out or something like that. But right now, I think we're 2-1 against them. If I remember correctly, I think we're 2-1. And I mean that's most people's prediction for the Eastern Conference Finals, more or less, is just Cleveland and Boston sticking it out.
They play February 28th again. And that's the last time y'all play each other.
Yeah, if I remember right, I think we're 2-1. We beat them. If I look on the record now, we beat them on the 4th of February.
Yeah, y'all beat them on the 4th.
We lost to them on the 1st of December, and then we had beat them like 2 weeks before that on the 19th. So yeah, we're 2-1 in them currently. I do feel like if Boston was played them in 7 games,
And I think they lost. They 2-1 again. They 1-2 against New York too, right?
New York, they just spanked New York.
Oh,
Yeah, they just spanked New York. They just spanked them.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been working a little bit overtime, so I ain't been seeing the game. Oh yeah, they just beat them 142-105.
They just.
It was yesterday. Oh, I was working overtime. I worked
They
overtime
just
today and this
spanked
morning,
them
so I did not get to watch the games.
Yeah.
I take that back then.
But they just spanked them.
Dang,
New York,
145.
Cleveland beat them the first time, and then as I'm scrolling through, Cleveland just beat them again, and they have 2 more games against Cleveland right before the playoffs. They're both in
So
April.
they're 0-2. I was wrong. I thought it was.
So they're 0-2. I mean, to be fair, the Knicks against Boston isn't much better. They lost the first game of the season. They lost the second game to us, and they play us again tomorrow. So right now they're 0-2 against Boston as well. So Knicks don't.
Oh, that might be what I was thinking about. They just all the top teams struggling against y'all.
But they don't look good. Like they play us tomorrow. We'll see if anything changes. Hopefully not. Hopefully.
Cleveland on a 6-game winning streak. Detroit on a 5-game winning streak. Second longest winning streak.
Oh, I think
Chicago is on a 5-game losing streak.
the
They got rid
only
of Zach
change
LaVine.
that could possibly happen is between 5 through 8. I don't think any other changes are probably going to happen in the top 4 teams. Right, so Indiana, to be fair, because they're right there with Milwaukee, I give them. But I think Indiana normally holds steady. So I'm gonna say
And they 6 games behind too, ain't they? Like
It's
they
not
5
bad.
games behind.
But,
They 5 games behind New York.
So I don't think nothing changes. I think the only change you can have anywhere between 4 and 8. And I really
Maybe
think
Milwaukee and Indiana fight for this spot.
they could. I know they play each other again.
Detroit is on a 5-game winning streak. So
We'll see. We will see. I think anything between 4 and 8. I think the play-in not gonna really matter. They are gonna be one and out, and it's probably come down to the top 4. Like really, the East is between the top 5 teams anyway. And I really don't even count Indiana.
it's really probably between the top 3 teams.
Yes, I don't really count Indiana in that in Milwaukee because of Doc Rivers. Nobody.
I'm sorry, Doc ain't. Giannis still trying to get traded on the slick. He be hitting it. Yeah, y'all act like we didn't see the All-Star. I hope. What do you say? I hope every foreign player go to a big market. I'm like, Milwaukee ain't a big market. Did he not say that Monday? He said, yo, every foreign top player, like Luka, go to a big market. Sir, you are a foreign player. You are not in a big market. What you trying to say?
We will see. But, and finally, we have the Wild West.
I'm so sad my Spurs been that losing streak since just Wemby got this shoulder problem.
Yeah, it's over with for the Spurs. They just traded for Fox.
Well, that's for the future. It was for the future anyway, so.
Yeah, they look good.
We got to get Stephen Castle right for next year. That's the goal now.
hopefully, and all things are saying Wemby's gonna make a full recovery. So we pray for Wemby. Hopefully, everything recovers well as they have.
But I know, but we got a goal now, Monte.
Yeah.
We have a goal now. Well,
I mean,
people like, why you choose the 76ers? The 76ers is my childhood team with Allen Iverson in it. Well, childhood was probably the Bulls, but Allen Iverson once I was like 10 when Jordan retired. So Allen Iverson and the Spurs are where I live at. They're the hometown team, basically. So
yeah, they are there, and hopefully, all prayers to Pop Bitch. Hopefully, they're able to recover and come back.
But our goal is to. But now we got a goal, Monte.
They have
Develop
a duo to work off with. They have a duo to work. They have a duo to work off with. They're gonna end up with a top pick after this, just because the rest of the year probably ain't gonna go too.
Steven Castle won the All-Star weekend, by the way. Horrible All-Star weekend. What are we gonna talk?
San Antonio might go from out of the playoffs team this year to next year. If all goes well, they get a high pick, draft well. Wemby shows up again, they easily be a top 16 next year. Easy.
We got to get a wing player, power forward.
No, I'm hoping they draft well, depending on how high of a lottery pick they end up with, and we'll see what they.
We got two. We got like the Bulls pick, Well, picks we got somebody. I might not be the Bulls.
They got two picks. They got their own, and they got one more. I can't remember who else.
Was that Atlanta? Atlanta pick. It might not be as high now.
Now, I ain't gonna hold you. Other than OKC, all this can change. Other than OKC, all of this can change. It's so volatile. Shout out to Denver. Jokic is a joke. The Joker is a wizard.
This is his MVP season. That team is trash.
That team should not be.
I take it back. Jamal Murray has stepped up recently.
He has come back, finally. But that team,
when he wasn't playing, I'm like, this team is awful because they have.
That team should not be 37-19. That team should not. It should not be 37-19.
Jokic is averaging like a super triple double out here.
It's crazy. That man is a wizard.
This is his MVP. I argue he didn't deserve the MVP last year. This year, he the MVP.
And yeah, I'm still looking at Shy for possibly getting that move as well. And Shy leading them 45-10 is still wrong.
How the Clippers 6?
Look, they for some reason James Harden, I think Jared McCain or whatever they found lightning in a bottle too with some other rookie they picked up that played him. They've been doing wonderful, and just now they got Kawhi starting. I think
Simmons averaging like 12 points and like 8 or 7 assists right now.
That team, and that's Ty Lue. Shout out to Ty Lue, one of the best coaches in the league. Easy wizardry. It's pure wizardry. So the West is really the one that's gonna be like nobody's gonna really make an honest prediction outside of like OKC. Of course, that'd be favored. Other than that, everything here is volatile. Just Los Angeles. People want to say everything about the Luka trade and everything. Look, I'll be real. I still don't think that team's gonna do it. I don't think they're gonna make no finals or nothing just because the defense is not.
Hey, listen. Did you see old boy put Luka on skates all night?
Like they're not good defensively. They're not good defensively. They don't have bigs. So, and they can't trade or anything. That's done for. So the team is what it is. I think they're gonna be beautiful to watch offensively some nights, but just I don't think I can't see it. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Lakers fail a slot or two, just because I think that defense is just not gonna be good.
Tuesday they have the Mavs. They got the Nuggets tonight. They can lose both of them again. I'm telling you, LaMelo Ball had Luka looking like he was in a spin cycle, like he was in a washing machine.
I did see that. And the unfortunate part, Dallas, they may not move out of this play-in spot if they can hold that steady solely because all your bigs hurt. It's so bad. All your bigs hurt.
All of them.
You get one game out of AD.
And it was an amazing game, by the way. It showed you what it could be. And then what me and Monte said last time we did a show, if he stay healthy, he's elite.
He made it 3 quarters. 2 or 3
Monte, the first half, what do you have, like 20, 12, and 6 Monte in the first half?
Garland, he got hurt. There's other big guys just Lively got hurt. Like just brothers. They couldn't catch a break. So it's not looking good for Dallas. Why they traded Lucas if anybody gets. Golden State, they've been able to try to get back in this play-in with Jimmy Butler. We'll see how it goes. Butler's defense has looked good in the last couple games. Then in Sacramento, it's basically the Bulls all over again. Because they just picked up Levine and picked up DeMar DeRozan, and they just swapped out Vucevic for DeMontis Sabonis. So they basically just made the Bulls all over again. It's the Bulls of the East now. They just basically swap over for the Bulls. So it's the Bulls of the East. Because they're the Bulls of the East, I don't expect anything from them either.
Surprising.
Yeah,
Phoenix.
Minnesota, they've been struggling. And they had an up and down year. Nowhere near like the playoff thing they've been trying to put on him. So I think
I
it's
saw a game the other day. He had 40 and like 15 and 15, and they lost by 30. And I'm like, listen, I don't know what else he can
I
do.
mean, you need a star, man. You need
I'm like, listen, if I
we'll
drop 40,
see.
15, and 15 and we lose by 20, I'm fighting everybody on the roster.
We gonna see how it gonna go.
This round
Right
on you first, nigga.
I think it's volatile. Any of these people can change. Any of these can go on. I think the only thing that's a lock is OKC. And the final thing I'll say before we get out of here, I'm sorry, Phoenix. It's over with.
I don't know how y'all know.
They're gonna blow the team. Blow up the team. Go
They
ahead.
tried, but nobody they refused to leave.
Yeah, it's Beal. Beal did not want to get traded.
They're like, I refuse to be traded. Then Kevin Durant like, nope, I ain't going to Golden State.
And
I'm like,
Durant didn't even want to be traded, and they tried to get him. So just to be real, the team's gonna get blown up in the offseason.
but how? Nobody wants to be traded.
They're gonna get blown up. Kevin Durant gonna leave in the offseason. He's gonna be traded somewhere.
You
Beal,
know the one because Bill, if he refuses to get traded, I'm like,
who else what Beal's gonna do? Kevin Durant will probably get traded in the offseason. They may even look into trading Booker and just blow everything up because it's pretty much over with at this point. And try to get some semblance of a regular looking team.
listen, we got Atlanta's first round pick. You can bring Book over here.
So we will see how it looks, but that's
Stephen Castle. Look for him in the future. I'm telling you, develop him. This is the year of his development right now. He
That's
had an
not
all-star, great weekend, by the way. Great all-star weekend. If
Make
McClung
sure.
didn't jump over a car, the whole car.
If you're watching, make sure like, comment, subscribe, make it make sense. The podcast, YouTube, and Facebook. And of course, if you're watching on Twitch, I am Monray Hudson. Always on Twitch every Saturday, letting you know what's going on in the world, updates and everything. And of course, we have the boy, Zell. Where can they find Zell, man?
You can find me saying I'm sorry like I'm Steve Smith at Keep It 99, Overall 99 Gaming, Overall 99 anything else, anime gaming. What else? We got sports. We got all those. I normally put this on there, but today I didn't. I forgot. But I just got work. So I forget things. I appreciate y'all. Just hit that like and subscribe button. Go follow me. I got a new show coming. I got a few new shows I'm gonna start developing. I gotta get with some people. We gonna work it out. Might see a music show tomorrow and over. Keep it 99 time. No telling what's gonna happen. Keep for the surprises. We working in behind the scenes. Some amazing things gonna happen. Some stuff might not happen until later in the year, but I'm working on it. Just let me work. Maybe with some interviews from celebrities. Working on something. So hit that like and subscribe button at the Overall 99 Media channel.
Thank you. And otherwise, it's your boy Monray Hudson. Everywhere it says Monray Hudson. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, as it still exists, and of course on Twitch. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. My heart's out to you all. Peace.